that happened in that case. So I go 23 years ago, and I just see exactly the same thing, the same strategy, the same argument. I'm talking about 23 years ago. It's like the time is frozen for them. And the same thing happened in my sister's case, that I had a two different system. I had the inquisitivo and the accusatorio. It's just exactly the same. It is just obstaculizing, impeding, and what they do is they just give the argument that is the army in order to get el espíritu del cuerpo. And in this case, if people who were doing the monitoring, they could have seen that at the end, Rios Montt was abandoned. He was abandoned. And there was no defense for him. Everything was, there's no genocide, we cannot have this discussion. So really, technically, at the end, there was no legal defendants to Rios Montt. For me, he was betrayed. So when he spoke, I think we were there, his speech was a better defense than a defense. So what I'm trying to say here is trying to understand, and all the terms that Rios Montt said in that moment when he spoke, nothing came out. And if you understand the rules of the debate, la prueba se produce en el debate.
Evidence is produced during the debate.
So everything what Rios Montt said,
It's not admissible.
everything that Rios Montt said, nothing came out from the defensa. So I think it was an opportunity for Guatemala to start knowing and to start discussing what happened in that period. Nothing came out. So everything that you're trying to understand, and that's why I'm trying to say to Amy, trying to understand all of these thousands of recursos, that's part of the strategy. So nobody understands what is going on, because that is the strategy. Even though la estrategia no era excluyente, the strategy was not excluyente,
They're not mutually exclusive, these strategies.
it's because they were not even allowing the possibility to start discussing it was or wasn't genocide. That is the opportunity that we are losing as Guatemalans. But on the other hand, legal strategy. What happened? As I said, the objective was no trial. So since the very beginning, everybody saw publicly that the defendant lawyers of Rios Montt were there. They were there. Everybody saw them in the trial. Even the journalists filmed the defense. And then suddenly, another lawyer, that is Garcia Gutiérrez, show up. According to the law, and this is, you have moral problems, no? According to the law, if I have problems with the tribunal, ethically, I shouldn't be there. This lawyer has been sanctioned 4 times by the bar of lawyers because of his attitude, even though he was put there as a defendant of Rios Montt. So we are having here a problem also of ethics. Why this ethics work in one side and doesn't work in the other side? But this is ethic. And this is what is bringing out down all the trial. And it's something about ethics. So, in la ley del organismo jurisdiccional,
A law of the judiciary
the figure of malicious litigation is written. They wanted to understand what is malicious litigation, and I gave him here all of this about malicious litigation, in which moment you have to put it. So you have a space there that is the appeal. So of course, if I am putting the tribunal under pressure, of course I'm going to have mistakes, and that's what they did. They constantly were giving a pressure to the tribunal in order to commit mistakes, and maybe the tribunal did some mistakes. But there is another moment, that is the appeal, where you have to say, okay, we'll fix this. But what happened is that they were not sutiles, they were not subtle in this strategy. So everything what it came out is first el autoritarismo,
Authoritarianism.
the prepotencia of who the hell you are to
Excuse me.
accuse me. This is what is happening. So I don't know if I'm being very clear. Of course I can give you, I am not a lawyer, but I can give you, there's a whole explanation here of every article of the law. Every article of the law that is legal malicious. But esto no sirve, because there is no political will. There is no intention to discuss there was or there wasn't. They don't care if Rios Montt is guilty or not guilty. They don't care. Everybody saw them. There was the Pobre General. Nobody was around him. They were more in solidarity with Rodriguez Sanchez, and I really feel that Rodriguez Sanchez was more guilty than Rios Montt. And Rios Montt was in hell by himself. I'm not trying to victimize him, but everything I'm trying to say is there was no intention to defend Rios Montt. We were witnesses of that. Everything was, there was not going to be any discussion about genocide. There was no genocide, and nobody will dare here to say that there was a genocide. And they want to open the discussion. And I don't think that is healthy for the country, for us. And then, why racism? I already said about racism. But then they would say, you know, what happened is, if we allow this case to go, you're going to empower indigenous people, and they are resented people, and then we don't have no nation. No, it's true. It is true. I have heard those arguments. It is true. But of course, how cannot I be resented if never had given to me an opportunity to be considered as a human being? First in the colonization. Now that I have the opportunity to say something about it, no, I'm sorry, you don't have no opportunity. You are lying, you are a liar. So there is no recognition of the other. There is no recognition of that human being. And that's what I was always trying to say to Roxanne. Hey, yes, you're a lawyer, but don't lose behind they are a human story. There are human people behind every file. And that's what's happening now in Guatemala. So trying to understand the legal process, yes, I can stay here for hours trying, even though I'm not a lawyer, but there is a human logic of everything that is happening. And they are judges in the Constitutional Court, at least to say, this is not our moment. So what does this mean? This means that there is a political will. No. There is hay una intención política, a political intention, not to discuss. What is going to happen? What happened yesterday with the annulment of the que es al 19 de abril? It's fine. 19th of April, they say, yes, we're validating everything up from the 19th of April to the 19th of March. Everything is fine. So the 19th or the 20th of April, really it was some witnesses and some experts of Rodriguez Sanchez. Yeah. The problem is that, okay, but I don't want that tribunal. So the next step, if according to the law and to the ethics, this tribunal who did the conviction has to recuse himself. So it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will name the next tribunal. Because I don't want the conviction of genocide. That's what we have to understand. Because there are people, I know that they say, they tell me, hey, we are international monitors and so we cannot say that. But I say, there are some international prisons. That's why I'm the only person. Because I'm telling them, you have to decivilize things that they were illegal. How internationally any judge will do a resolution without the file, right? Is that an international principle?
Yeah, sure.
¿Sí?
Yeah.
Common sense, right?
Common sense.
Ningún juez va a dictar una resolución sin expediente. ¿Es eso cierto o no?
Claro, cierto.
Eso fue lo que hizo Carlos Patricia Flores. Without the file, she did the annulment. And the Constitutional Court said, yes, she's right. What? And said, well, you know what? then the Constitutional Court will say, you know what, I don't know if you're firm, but you know what, you have 2 hours to send a file in order to make it definitive. Huh? Tell me if not it's political. It is or it's not political. And these are the things that this monitoring, this monitoring has to emphasize. I know that ethics is not a point, but it is a point. Because genocide is today, but yesterday was Portillo. And it's not Portillo, it's also corruption. This goes beyond the genocide case. We are talking here about rule of law. So that means that rule of law is only possible for the rich, for the elite, for the status quo. If I am not part of that status quo, I'm sorry, you don't have any law. I'm sorry. And that is caso Sicariza. Y eso que Sicariza es medium class. I am medium class. Pero me costó tanto as the indigenous. I don't know if I am understanding what is this, but this is what it happens.
Thank you.
So, time is over.